Hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar on free OpManager training series. Before we start, I would like to get a quick confirmation from you all. If you can hear me well and see the presentation, please use the webinar chat panel and type yes. Let me wait for a couple of confirmation and then we can get started. All right, as many of you have confirmed, we can get started. So I welcome you all once again for the free OpManager training series. And I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Suresh Bhagwati, evangelist for Manage Engine IT Operations Team. Before I ended up in this role, I was working as a support engineer with OpManager technical team and helped customers and prospects around the globe to make best use of OpManager in their organization. So with all these experience, I'm here doing a free OpManager training series for 5 parts. And as you all know, we have already covered the 4 parts in discovery and classification. We saw how do you get your inventories inside OpManager and how do you apply filters to ignore the devices that you do not wish to add in OpManager and so on. And in the part 2, we discussed about monitoring the health and performance of the servers. And in part 3, we discussed about monitoring the health and performance of network devices. And in the previous session, you would have learned about managing the faults efficiently and how do you monitor the syslogs, event logs, SNMP traps, and how do you automate using IT workflow automation in OpManager. So in today's session, we are going to discuss about the network maps, how to integrate Google Maps with OpManager, and how do you create business groups for the devices based upon the departments or sites. And so we're going to discuss all about custom maps, networks, and reports and best practices in today's session. More importantly, the recorded version of this webinar will be emailed to you when 1 working day time, and also the recorded version will be uploaded in our training page. As you can see, the URL displayed on the screen. You can very well share this with your colleagues or friends who missed to join today's session, or you can use this for your later reference. All right, so our week 5 topic, network maps, reports, and best practices. So let's see what we got here in the agenda today. So network maps, we're going to discuss about business views, Google Maps, building rack builders, 3D data center builders, and so on. And network management, here I'm going to teach you how you can create various dashboards and adding multiple widgets into your dashboards and display this in a knock view so that you can get a quick view of your entire network. And we are going to discuss some of the network reports. And OpManager offers the mobile apps for both Android and Apple. And we're going to discuss some of the top best practices for OpManager. So network maps. First, I would like to discuss about the layer 2 maps. Say you wanted to discover or you want to scan your entire network or to get all the devices added in OpManager. You can use this layer 2 maps, so you can know how your devices are interconnected with each other in your network. And you can put this on a schedule. So on a periodical, it will scan all the entire network in the IP range. And if any new device is identified in the network, will be automatically scanned by OpManager, and the map will be updated. And based upon the schedule, you want to wish to add these devices for monitoring, you can do that. And you can import all these devices into your OpManager tool for monitoring. So let me quickly jump to a product demo and show how this can be done. And if you go to settings and discovery, layer 2 discovery. So here is where you will supply the seed router information that has the information of the devices interconnected, the neighboring devices. So you just put in the IP range for which you wanted to discover the devices, and select the respective credentials and the discovery mechanism according to your need. All these discovery mechanism listed here are selected, and you can schedule this to a minimum of 1 day and maximum of the number you prefer. So on a given time, it will automatically scan the entire network, and any new devices identified in the network will be automatically updated in OpManager. Let me quickly show a map that has already been discovered. So let me pick building 3 for example, and this is how the network scan is done. And once it is scanned, you want to define the tree spacing or node spacing or subtree spacing. You can edit and update it. So just providing the seed router information, it will bring in all the neighboring devices and show how the devices are interconnected with each other. And you can have a look at it in different views like radial view, node link, and balloon tree view. And once this has been discovered, and you can define whether all these devices need to be imported in OpManager for monitoring, for which you need to click on this settings icon and click on the import option, and you can select what are all the devices that you want to be added in OpManager for monitoring. So just select the devices and hit on discovery, so that will get all the devices scanned in OpManager for you. And you can also import this mapped to Visio if you have a requirement to upload these map in your Visio tool. All right, so let me switch back to the presentation. So next we got here business views. So business views help you group devices geographically based on geographical location or department, or based on business service. And you can add links between devices to monitor the link connectivity. And you can add shortcuts in business view for branch offices. And you can also restrict user based on business view groups. So let me quickly show a demo on the product. Say I have already created a business view called United States, and I've added a link between devices. So if you see, I've added a link, and say I wanted to add more link, I can just select the device, and just and once it pops up, it is going to show an option to select the interface, whether you wanted to select the interface from the left end or from the right end. And you can just select the respective device, and it's going to list all the interfaces available. So the link that you wish to add in OpManager for monitoring, just add and save it. And once you save this, the link is added, and you close this. And when you highlight the link, you can know what type of interface it is, and the IP address, the admin and operational status, the speed of the link, the in and out traffic, and so on. And we were also talking about adding shortcuts for the business views for different site. So let me quickly show you how you can do that. I've already have another site called New York, and I wanted to bring those New York and put it here, right here in the map. And also say I wanted to create a new business view for California. You can do it, and it's all going to be drag and drop. So let me save this. And you wanted to add a background image, just double click on the screen. You can just click on background otherwise, and select the maps that is available, or you can just upload your own map and get it done. So let me save this. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the California business view group and the New York group into United States map. So let me edit the United States map and add shortcuts. call this as California and select the California map. Save it, just dragging it to the correct location, and I'm also adding a shortcut for the New York. Okay, I think the New York is already added. I'm just going to drag and drop it to the respective location, and I'm going to change this to time outlet. So once I do this and save it, the respective groups are added to United States map, and if I wanted to drill down to the respective group from the United States map, I can just click on it and it will take me to the respective map. So I can view this on list view to understand the device details and the current status, the IP address and the type of the device and so on. You can also go to the dashboard view to see the availability distribution and the statistical data, and you can change the report timing right here. All right, and so what if I wanted to give an option to a user to access only the specific group? Say for example, I wanted to give an user access only to a New York group. So go into settings and user management, and here let me edit the guest user, and I've added an operator role. So this is a read-only user. He can only see the data. If you provide an admin user for that particular group, then he can add a notification profile, update the IP address on the devices and stuffs like that. So let me go to the scope and I select only New York site to be displayed from this for this user. So yeah, the configurations are done. I'm just signing out as an admin and logging in as the guest user. Right. Yeah. So I got the password and I logged in. So now this user has got an access only to the New York site. So he'll not have an access to see the information of the other devices. So I think we log in as administrator. And now from the inventory page, you see I have close to 40 devices, but previously I had an access to only 3 or 4 devices when I logged in as a guest user. All right, so let's move on to the next section, integrating Google Maps with OpManager. So all you have to do is, so when you go to OpManager, Maps, and access Google Maps, when the integration is not set up, you will have the instructions to set up the integration right here. So all that you need to do is just download the map.html file. The link is provided here. So it'll download a zip file. Just need to extract and open the map.html in any script editor, and then the important step is to generate the Google API key. So all that, so it will guide you. Just need to get started and select the respective module, and assume that we have generated the API key. So all you need to do is just paste the generated API key by editing the map.html file, and you just need to find this source and put in your Google API key. And once that is done, you just need to browse and update the updated maps.html file, and once you submit it, you will have the Google Map integrated with OpManager. And next we got racks. So you wanted to replicate how the devices are placed in your data center by building racks. You can do that in OpManager. So we go to map section and you got racks. So I've already got the rack view for Japan, and I created another group called new rack. So it's all going to be simple. Just give it a name. Let me call this as California, and it's all going to be drag and drop. And you want to reduce the number of racks, you can do it. And you want to change the U size, you can do it. You want to change the color to white, you can do it. So once it is done, just save this. And this is the rack view, and it will display the status of the devices right here. And if you tend to see some critical alerts and you wanted to see what type of alarm the device got, you can click on the respective device. That will take you to the device snapshot page, and you get information of the devices, like what type of device it is, the IP address of the devices. And when you go to alarms page, you get to know the exact problem that occurred on this device. And next, about building 3D floor view. So once the rack builder is set up, go to maps again, and when creating a floor view, all you're going to do is just drag and drop the rack builders that you have just created. And you can create path, aisle, and wall. You can increase the floor size, tile size, and so on. And once it is set up, save it. And so you can just project this on a plasma TV view and have a quick view of your data center. So you can replicate how your data center is located and how many racks are available, and you can place all the devices and so on. All right. So let's move on to our next section, network management. So customizing dashboards. So here I have created a couple of dashboards. For example, if you see, I wanted to have a separate view for total network traffic across all servers. I've created a separate dashboard for this. I'll show you. And devices which are using high percentage of their CPU or memory. And let me go to dashboard. As you see, all server traffic have included a dashboard, and for health and performance of all devices I've created a separate dashboard to display the information of the devices and the minimum of maximum of CPU utilization and memory utilization and the last polled value of CPU utilization of a critical server and all these information. And I also wanted to see the active alarms or alarm specific on a separate dashboard. You can still do that. Let me show how you can create a separate dashboard. So on the main page, on the dashboard page, at the top right corner, you have a plus icon. Just click on it and select the new dashboard. Let me call this as alarms. And when you hit on next, so this is going to list all the widgets. We have 200 plus widgets across each modules. So as you know, OpManager is now integrated with NetFlow, Firewall Analyzer, Network Configuration Manager, and OpUtils, the IP address and switch port management. So across all these modules, we have 200 plus widgets available. So you can pick what type of widgets that you wanted to be displayed on the dashboard. So right now I wanted to pick the alarm specific dashboards and put it as a separate dashboard. So I'm selecting all the alarm specific events, and once I hit on create, so it's going to display all the alarm specific information for me in this dashboard. And I also wanted to create a downtime report for all devices and services. Just go to doing the same process again. I'm calling this as downtime, and all I'm going to do is search for downtime, and devices by downtime and services by downtime is all I wanted to create from this dashboard. So I'm selecting the respective widget information, and as and when I select the respective widget, it displays the information for me. And you wanted to customize this, you can edit, and you wanted to filter this to a specific category, you can do it, or you wanted to filter this to specific business you call New York, or to California, or to United States. You can drill down, and you can also select the period, like you wanted to see this data for last 24 hours or last 30 days. You can define and save it. And you wanted to see an IT summary of all the information to take a look at your network view, a quick view. So I've already created an IT summary dashboard by including the data from various modules. And now is the question. And I also encourage you to post all your questions right there. We have a panelist team sitting there to answer all your questions. So when and where you have any questions, I encourage you to post questions in the using the webinar chat panel, and all your questions will be answered immediately. And also at the end of the session, we have 15 minutes to discuss all the questions, all the interesting questions that we received in our today's session. So we'll also be picking up all the interesting questions and answering that at the end of the session. And to go to getting back to the presentation, if you wanted to embed OpManager widgets into any other web pages or any other third-party tool, and you just need to copy the source from here, the iframe source, and you can embed it with the other modules so that you can get to see this information without logging into OpManager. And I have created multiple dashboards. So how do I see the information of all these dashboards, the data from all these dashboards in one quick view? And that is where the knock view is helpful. So you have the knock view at the top of the page from OpManager, and just click on create knock view. Let me call this as United States. And I have created multiple dashboards, so I wanted to see all information of all these 5 dashboards in one quick view. So I create a knock view by selecting the devices that I want, and I go back to the knock view again. I click on United States view, and this takes me to the knock view, and I'm just selecting all the dashboards to be displayed. So I can 30 minutes is the interval. So after 30, sorry, I'm not I was wrong. It was not 30 minutes, it was 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, as you can see, the timeout is going on, and it will just once it's 0, it is going to change the dashboard. Right now we are seeing server traffic, sorry, the alarms information, and it's changed to server traffic. And you wanted to change this to daylight mode, you can change. And you feel that some of the information that I couldn't see from the respective dashboard, then I wanted to extend this. You can just extend so that the rest of the widgets will be adjusted to the monitor size automatically. So this is how you get all the information, all the data from different dashboards to be displayed in one quick view. Or you can manually select the information here as well. So that is all about creating knock views and dashboards and widgets. Let me get back to the presentation. So next we got network reports. So when it comes to reports, we got different informations, like there are different ways that you can generate the reports. So you can create standard reports. Standard reports are nothing but the reports are already available out there. You just go find the type of reports that you want and just click on that respective link that will generate the report for you. Where do you find the standard reports? You go to reports section and you see the various reports available for system that got information about the events, trap logs, and so on. The health and performance report that has information about the health of the devices like CPU, memory utilization, and stuff like that. The availability and response time reports gives you the availability statistics data of the devices, interfaces, processes, services, and so on. And likewise, you have all the filters available based on the report that you want. Just go into the respective filter and hit on the report, and that is going to pull out the report for you. And customized report, say for example, you have created a custom SNMP monitor on a router to pull out some information for which the default monitor did not have the data. So you created a custom SNMP monitor with the SNMP OID, and for all those information will not be available under the standard reports. So you got to create a custom report for that. So you can go to my favorites and create a custom report. And in my example, I talked about a performance report. So I'm selecting the performance category and I select any performance monitor. And here it's going to list the type of vendor and so on, stuff like that. So I'm selecting the respective vendor and it is going to list down the custom SNMP monitor that I created. And once you complete this process and create a report, and then that will be available under my favorites, and you can just pull out the report from here just by clicking on the respective link. And generating reports from inventory page. I'm not sure how many of you know the usage of generating the report from the inventory page. We have hundreds of reports available from all these categories, but it's all, say for example, you're pulling out a report for CPU utilization, you're pulling out a report for CPU utilization only for CPU utilization monitor across all the devices. But what if I wanted to see the data of CPU, memory, disk across all servers? So here is where, if I go to inventory, it is going to list all the devices for me, and it applies for interfaces as well. You want to generate a report for interfaces, you can select the respective interfaces. So in my case, I wanted to pull out a report for all servers. So I'm drilling down this to server, and I'm selecting all the devices and hit on generate report. So I wanted to pull this report for this month, and let me select the CPU, memory. So the advantage of generating a report from here is I can select multiple monitors across multiple devices and pull out a report. So as you can see, it is listing down the report for all these devices, and I wanted to filter out not to see OPM val 8 on this report. I can just disable that and see only the, say I see some spike on OPM W12R2. So I wanted to see only the report of that device. I can filter it out by disabling the other devices. And converting these reports into a widget is also possible in the latest version of OpManager. So as you see a plus icon available right here, and you wanted to generate a report widget for this, just click on the plus icon. and this comes under the performance. So let me put this to health and performance of all devices, and I just click on OK. So if I go to the dashboard health and performance, I will see this piece of information getting added as a widget. Let me go to dashboard, drill down to health and performance. So you see the report that we had generated now is available as a widget inside a dashboard here in OpManager. So that is all about converting the reports into a widget. And there are also some of other reports that are definitely useful for you. Say you have added a couple of devices in OpManager, and you have configured thresholds for all these devices, and you want to know for how many of the devices you have applied thresholds. I go to reports. From the inventory, you see threshold details of devices. You want to drill this down for servers. Your report. This is going to bring in only the servers for which I have configured threshold. So if you're missing out any one device, say you might be, in my example, it just displays two devices, but you might be having a very big environment, say 500 servers are available. And if you're missing out a threshold configuration on one device and you did not know whether you missed it or not, and you wanted to find out the report for those information, you can just pull out a report from here. And you wanted to know how many of the devices for which a notification profile is associated, and you can identify that from the inventory report. So notification profile applied, I click on it. So this displays the notification profile name and how many of the devices are associated to the list. And I just click on it, so it gives me the information of the devices for which the notification profile is applied. An audit report, you want to know who's doing what action. So if some of you have created a new notification profile, some of the admin initiated a new network scan, all the work logs that's been done on the OpManager will be logged. And you wanted to see the audit report, just go to systems, and at the bottom you have audit report. So this logs the information of all the actions that's been taken place in OpManager. For example, when we started the session, we did a lot of things, like we created a floor view, we created a rack view, we edited a user and selected the respective business view group. So likewise, we did a lot of actions. So, and I did all these actions logging in as an administrator, and all this will be updated. So you have multiple admins working in OpManager, and you wanted to know who's doing what, and something broke, you wanted to understand the last actions, you can do it. And you can also filter this based on module. So if something went wrong with notification, you can just select only notification and submit. So you will see the information only logged for the respective notification module. And you can also select the time period. From within a period of time, you can select and understand what actions been done in OpManager during that period. You can also apply this based on the devices. All right, so what is next? The inventory report. See, if you go to the licensing section, right now, the monitored device from this instance is 40. And you wanted to know the information of all these 40 devices. Go to inventory and all devices. So it is going to list all the devices with IP address, type, and the information of the RAM and disk space. You can pull out a report to understand the information of all 40 devices. You can export this to PDF or XLS, and you wanted to run a schedule for some important reports, and you need to put this on a schedule. You can add a schedule, and at a given point of time, a report is generated and send an email to the configured email address for the respective admin or the supervisor. And you can also send an email. You can email this report to your supervisor just by hitting on the email icon right here. All right, and as I told you, OpManager offers the mobile apps for iOS and Android, and you can simply go to your Play Store and search for OpManager, or the simple trick is just sign out from OpManager, and on the login page you have the links to download the apps for the Android and iPhone. And so I'm going to discuss about some of the best practices. So you wanted to do some bulk configuration. You're doing some configurations often and you're wondering how I can automate this or how I can do this on a bulk devices. So you go to settings, configuration, quick configuration visit, and this has the information about the device templates, notification profiles, service monitors. For example, if you wanted to update thresholds for a specific monitor, and you can select the respective monitor right here, and you wanted to apply this to devices that are running with WMI or SNMP, you can select it. You wanted to apply this to all category or all business view, you can do it, and it's going to list the type of interfaces, the type of monitors. And once you do this, hit on configure, that is going to list, that is going to show you the threshold edit page. So you can edit and update the threshold value, and you can apply this. So in just one click, it gets applied to all the devices. So likewise, you can do it for notification profile. You wanted to you have a notification profile created, and you have 50 devices added recently, and you wanted to apply a notification profile to the 50 devices that's been added recently. You select the respective notification profile and select the respective devices, move it to the right side, and get that associated in just one click. Same way you can do it for service monitors, or you wanted to delete devices, or you wanted to put the devices, you want to suppress the alarm for a couple of devices for which a maintenance is going on, you can do that. And say you have a monthly web server maintenance and you wanted to put some of the servers on a predefined maintenance mode, and you can define this as well. So you go to settings, configuration, downtime schedules. So this is where you will add the servers and put this on a maintenance mode. Call this as servers and enable this. Say I run a weekly maintenance or a monthly maintenance, and I want the devices to go to the maintenance mode from 8 a.m. in the morning to 6 p.m. in the evening. So I wanted to do this for all servers. Do it and save it. So on a given point of time, all the devices between so and so time will be on the maintenance mode, meaning it will not be polled for any information in OpManager, and it will be grayed out. So between those periods, no polls will be happening. It will not be generating any unnecessary alarms, though the devices are in the maintenance mode. So once the period is over, it will go out from the maintenance mode and it will start monitoring the devices for availability, health, and performance. So customizing data archive settings. So you wanted to customize the archiving settings. So it maintains the recent alarms for around 10,000 alarms. You wanted to increase these numbers, you can do it. and detailed statistics will be maintained for last 7 days by default. So detailed statistics meaning it will have the information of each and every data point, and you can maintain this for 7 days by default. You want to increase this, you can increase these for about next 14 days or 30 days, you can do it. And the average data for hourly statistics will be maintained for 30 days, and you wanted to increase this or decrease this, you can do it. And also you can update this for daily statistics as well. And you have to ensure that you're not doing overdoing these maintenance. For example, if your detailed statistics you're maintaining this for nearly 6 months, then that's a trouble. You have to have enough hardware configurations. So you're doing you're overloading the servers like to maintain the detailed statistics for a couple of months, then I would always recommend you to get the recommendation from the support before you're doing any configurations on the database maintenance. And limiting transaction logs, we'll be sharing all the presentation material and thank you email to you probably in next 24 hours. And the information is available in the respective knowledge base link. So transaction logs is something that will fill up your hardest space. So if your op manager is running the database on MS SQL Server, then you have to, it's a must do step in your SQL Server. So you can take a look at the knowledge base link. And backup and restore, if you're moving your data, your op manager server from one server to another server, or one drive to another drive, or you're performing some upgrade, so backup is always recommended. So if something goes wrong, you can use the backup and restore the data. And self-monitoring, you wanted to do some self-monitoring in OpManager to understand the CPU usage and the PTSQL CPU usage, or you wanted to monitor the disk space on your OpManager server and get alerted when it overutilized. So you can configure all these things. So whenever it deviates from the configured threshold value, it's going to alert you. So with that, we are coming to the first part of the end of first part of presentation. So we have 10 to 15 more minutes to discuss about the interesting questions that we received in today's session. And you need more help. We have short demos and tech videos uploaded in our OpManager Tech Video YouTube channel. So I recommend you to subscribe to this channel to get updated videos, and all the step-by-step instructions for your features is available in our help.opmanager.com, and you can have a look at help.opmanager.com for those information. And forums.manageengine.com/opmanager, it's our pitch stop, it's our community page where all the technical discussions between the Manage Engine panel and the users will happen here. So you want to know something, you can go search for all these three channels and you can find the information. You still wanted to write to us, feel free to write to us at opmanager-support@manageengine.com. Or for any immediate assistance, I recommend you to dial us at the number displayed on your screen, and we'll be happy to assist you. And I'm happy to inform you that Manage Engine's Op Manager has earned a spot in Gartner's Magic Quadrant in 2018, and we are really excited to let you know about this because this is the first time we are recognized by Gartner's Magic Quadrant. And right now, I'm leaving this to Anil, one of the panelists. He got a lot of experience handling customers. He's into customer support. And right now, he'll be discussing about some of the interesting questions that we received in today's session. Just give me a second. Let me. Okay. So over to you, Anil. Thanks for listening to me.
Hello everyone. My name is Venkat Anil Kumar. I'm product expert, op manager. I've been with this product for past 7 years, and today I'm here to discuss a few important or few frequently asked questions that few of you asked during the webinar session. So let's get started with the first one. So the first one goes like this: what is a seed device? So you will see when you're trying to draw a layer to map, it would ask you for selecting. It would ask you for the seed device IP address. So seed device is a core device in your network, and which should have SNMP enabled. And when queried, this device through SNMP will give you the complete information of the devices that are connected to this particular device, right? And which will also help you in drawing the links between these devices when you are attempting to draw a layer to map. And the next one, and is there a way to embed my intranet website as a part of the widget in my dashboard that I have created? So this is one of the frequent questions that we get in support, where many customers would have custom dashboards created, and they want to have their intranet portal or any intranet website uh, displayed in the particular dashboard that they have created. So you should be able to use a widget called custom HTML or text. All right, and this is a widget. So you can add the widget by going to by clicking on the green box to the right side and hit with add widgets, and you should be able to search for custom HTML or text, and you should be able to edit this. And you need to have some HTML coding. All right, or you can use the iframe tag to have that particular website displayed in the dashboard that you have created. And let's get into the next one. So uh, how can I remove rack and 3D floor view from maps which I do not use? And it is we have a few customers asking about information on how to remove the tabs, right, which I do not use. Like for example, not all customers might use NCM or NetFlow or Firewall, and similarly, not all customers would like to have 3D or rack views displayed under maps. So we have provided an option to have them removed if they are not required. So you can go to settings, system settings, and you have an option to choose the modules that you would like to display. So for example, if you want to have only OpManager and NetFlow to be displayed, and you can have the rest unchecked over here and save the settings so that you can only see OpManager and NetFlow dash under in the dashboard. And similarly, you can have the rack and 3D floor view disabled if you don't want to see it under maps. And once you go to maps, the rack and 3D will not be displayed. And similarly, and if you select only the required modules over there, and you can only and you'll not see the rest of the modules that you do not want to display. And the next one, I created a new dashboard which I want to set as my default dashboard. How can I do that? So whenever you log into OpManager, whenever you load the OpManager UI, that you'll have the default dashboard displayed, which is the overview and the net. We have few default dashboards that would be displayed, and the default dashboard that is displayed is Enterprise Edition. And in case if you want to have any custom dashboard that you have created to be displayed as a default one, you can hit the star button. You can access a particular dashboard, and you can have hit the star, which is an option to make the dashboard as the default one. So if you hit the star button, and if you refresh the web page, or when you log in the next time, and that is the dashboard that would be displayed as a default one. And the next one, I want to fine tune the thresholds assigned to the devices. Is there a way to get a report of all the device thresholds that is being configured? I mean, this, I believe Suresh would have explained you when discussing about the reports. So we frequently get questions in support asking to understand what thresholds have been already configured in the devices, so that they can fine tune the thresholds as per the current requirement. And for that, we have inventory reports, where you have a default report called threshold details of devices. So this particular report will give you the information of thresholds that are currently assigned to the monitors that are associated to the devices. So you can drill down to the device based on category of the devices, or based on the devices of a specific business view, and view all the thresholds that are assigned to the monitors, and based on which you can decide to do the changes, or you can do the changes to the monitors that are associated to the devices. The next one. So I use layer 2 discovery, and it sees all my devices on my network. Will it take all my license? I only want to monitor critical devices, not all. And this was one of the questions that was asked during the webinar. So layer 2 device will query the seed device, whatever you have selected, and will list out or will discover all the devices and their connectivity to the seed device. And layer 2 discovery will list all the devices which you may not have added to OpManager, right? But it will not, using the layer 2 discovery to draw a layer 2 map will not consume any license. And in case if you want to have any devices to be imported to OpManager, so any critical devices that you find which were not added that you want to import, and once you have the layer 2 map drawn, you can import the devices by using the option import devices. It will list all the devices uh, that are discovered in that particular layer 2 map. You can select the device and add it to OpManager if you want in case. The next one, I need to know how to make business maps where other maps can be displayed, which are also created in OpManager. So this is one of the frequent questions that we hear from customers. Many customers would like to have a general map or a common map which shows all the status of all the business views that they have created. For example, I have 10 business views, and I want to have these status of all the 10 business views in a single business view. So you can create a new one, can create a new business view, and you have an option called shortcut. Right, shortcut is nothing but we use shortcut to display a business view inside another business view that you want to create. For example, I want to name this shortcut and include a business view. So I can just include, I can select that particular business view that I want to include in this new one and just hit save. And similarly, I can have multiple shortcuts included in a particular business view. So once I create this business view, which includes all the shortcuts, so all the business view status will be propagated to this particular business view. So you should be able to understand the current alarms or current status of that particular business view by looking at this main business view. The next one. Uh, with this, this comes to the end, and we had very few questions that were asked during the webinar. And in case if you have any further questions, you can always feel free to write to us at opmanager-support@managingit.com, and we'll be glad to help you with that. And with that, I'll end up the session. And thank you very much for joining the webinar, and you all have a great day.